words of the Bhagavad Gita, as that by which all this world is pervaded. When Svetaketu was 12 years old, he was sent to a teacher with whom he studied until he was 24. After learning all the Vedas, he returned home full of conceit in the belief that he was consummately well educated and very censorious. His father said to him, "Svetaketu, my child, you who are so full of your learning and so censorious, have you asked for that knowledge by which we hear the unbearable, by which we perceive what cannot be perceived and know what cannot be known?" "What is that knowledge, sir?" asked Svetaketu. His father replied, "As by knowing one lump of clay, all that is made of clay is known, the difference being only in name, but the truth being that all is clay, so, my child, is that knowledge, knowing which we know all." "But surely these venerable teachers of mine are ignorant of this knowledge, for if they possessed it, they would have imparted it to me. Do you, sir, therefore give me that knowledge?" "So be it," said the father. And he said, "Bring me a fruit of the Nyagroda tree." "Here is one, sir." "Break it." "It is broken, sir." "What do you see there?" "Some seeds, sir, exceedingly small." "Break one of these." "It is broken, sir." "What do you see there?" "Nothing at all." The father said, "My son, that subtle essence which you do not perceive there, in that very essence stands the being of the huge Nyagroda tree. In that which is the subtle essence, all that exists has itself. That is the truth, that is the self. And thou, Svetaketu, art that." "Pray, sir," said the son, "tell me more." "Be it so, my child," the father replied. And he said, "Place this salt in water, and come to me tomorrow morning." The son did as he was told. Next morning the father said, "Bring me the salt which you put in the water." The son looked for it, but did not find it, for the salt, of course, had dissolved. The father said, "Taste some of the water from the surface of the vessel. How is it?" "Salty." "Taste some from the middle. How is it?" "Salty." "Taste some from the bottom. How is it?" "Salty." The father said, "Throw the water away and then come back to me again." The son did so, but the salt was not lost. The salt exists forever. Then the father said, "Here likewise in this body of yours, my son, you do not perceive the truth. But there in fact it is. In that which is the subtle essence, all that exists has itself. That is the truth, that is the self. And thou, Svetaketu, art that." From the Chandogya Upanishad. The man who wishes to know the that which is thou may set to work in any one of three ways. He may begin by looking inwards into his own particular thou, and by a process of dying to self, self in reasoning, self in willing, self in feeling, come at last to a knowledge of the self, the kingdom of God that is within. Or else he may begin with the thous existing outside himself, and may try to realize their essential unity with God, and through God, with one another, and with his own being. Or finally, and this is doubtless the best way, he may seek to approach the ultimate that, both from within and from without, so that he comes to realize God experimentally, as at once the principle of his own thou, and of all other thous, animate and inanimate. The completely illuminated human being knows with law that God is present in the deepest and most central part of his own soul. But he is also, and at the same time, one of those who, in the words of Plotinus, see all things, not in process of becoming, but in being, and see themselves in other. Each being contains in itself the whole intelligible world. Therefore, all is everywhere. Each is their all, and all is each. Man, as he now is, has ceased to be the all, But when he ceases to be an individual, he raises himself again and penetrates the whole world. It is from the more or less obscure intuition of the oneness that is the ground and principle of all multiplicity that philosophy takes its source. And not alone philosophy, but natural science as well. All science, in Meyerson's phrase, is the reduction of multiplicities to identities, divining the one within and beyond the many, to find an intrinsic plausibility in any explanation of the diverse in terms of a single principle. The philosophy of the Upanishads reappears, developed and enriched, in the Bhagavad Gita, and was finally systemized in the 9th century of our era by Shankara. Shankara's teaching, simultaneous with theoretical and practical, as is that of all true exponents of the perennial philosophy, is summarized in his versified treatise Viveka Chudamani, the Pressed Jewel of Wisdom. All the following passages are taken from this conveniently brief and untechnical work. The Atman is that by which the universe is pervaded, but which nothing pervades, which causes all things to shine, but which all things cannot make shine. The nature of one reality must be known by one's own clear spiritual perception. It cannot be known through a candle. Learn it now. Similarly, the form of the moon can only be known through one's own eyes. How can it be known through others? Who but the Atman is capable of removing the bonds of ignorance, passion, and self-interested action? Liberation cannot be achieved except by the perception of the identity of the individual spirit with the universal spirit. It can be achieved neither by yoga, physical training, nor by Sankhya, speculative philosophy, nor by the practice of religious ceremonies, nor by mere learning. Disease is not cured by pronouncing the name of medicine, but by taking medicine. Deliverance is not achieved by repeating the word Brahman, but by directly experiencing Brahman. The Atman is the witness of the individual mind and its operations. It is absolute knowledge. The wise man is one who understands that the essence of Brahman and of Atman is pure consciousness, and who realizes their absolute identity. The identity of Brahman and Atman is affirmed in hundreds of sacred texts. Caste, creed, family and lineage do not exist in Brahman. Brahman has neither name nor form, transcends merit and demerit, is beyond time, space, and the objects of sense experience. Such is Brahman, and thou art that. Meditate upon this truth within your consciousness. Supreme, beyond the power of speech to express, Brahman may yet be apprehended by the eye of pure illumination. Pure, absolute, and eternal reality, such is Brahman, and thou art that. Meditate upon this truth within your consciousness.